All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's live stream. So I pretty much just woke up. This is the first time I'm opening up the charts this morning. So I want to kind of let you guys in on my morning routine as a trader, what I do every morning when I come into my office, what markets I look at, and how I kind of try to get a feeling for the markets in the morning. So today we're going to look at Bitcoin, we're going to look at the crypto market, and then at the end of the stream, we're going to look at the Forex market. It's going to be no longer than an hour because I have an interview with a new candidate for the TA team in the Bird Nest. So let's run the intro, and afterwards we'll take a look at the markets. All right. So we have a couple of active calls in the Bird Nest right now. By the way, guys, if you're new to the channel, please hit that like button, subscribe, and even if you're not new, obviously hit that like button. We have a few active setups in the Bird Nest right now. We have, well, at least from me, I know Jay posted some calls as well, but from me, we have EOS, Fail, and Dash. Now, the name of this stream is very important event for Bitcoin. And obviously, what I'm talking about is the CPI at 13. So it's 14:30 my time, but it's 13:30 UTC. So it's 1:30 p.m. UTC. Today we have the CPI coming out, and this is in major news events. So what I've done here is I went to forexfactory.com/calendar. This is where you will find all the major and minor, basically all the news events in the Forex market. And some of these news events will have a heavy impact on USD. And usually the high impact news event for USD, the US dollar, will impact most of the financial markets, including Bitcoin. And obviously Bitcoin, because it's mostly traded against the USD, right? So this is a great site to use. There's also the FX Street calendar, which is also pretty good. But this is one I'm using, and I should definitely, I definitely agree. I recommend that you guys go on to this calendar and check it every day to kind of remind you. Obviously, you don't have to check it every day, but make sure you understand like when is major news event coming up and how is that affecting the markets. It's a great way to kind of look at what happens when there's a news event. Obviously, right now we have press conference from the Bank of England, and usually that is a high impact news event. There's a lot of added volatility while traders are trying to digest that news event. So the GBP will move quite violently during that news event, most likely. So for me, as a 100% TA trader, I do kind of, I've started going into the fundamentals of the market as well. But for now, I'm a technical trader, and it works very well for me. But what doesn't work while being a technical trader is trying to trade the news. Basically, that's very, very hard, right? So what I do is I try to stay out of the market when there's major news events coming up, right? So, for example, we had a trade on. Wait a minute, what happened? I removed my camera. Weird. We had a major news event for the Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar yesterday, right? And today we have GBP, and we were in a trade on GBP CAD, right? So this was the trade we were in on GBP CAD. Now, as soon as we went back into the entry zone, I exited this trade because of the fact that this happened 20 minutes before the news event on the Canadian dollar, and then you had the GBP event coming up today. So I felt it's better to get out of that trade because technicals, trading with technicals works very well when there's no news events, right? And that is when the market is very nicely trending in a technical matter. The news event will if it's you're either gonna see continuation of the trend, or it's gonna break the trend. Either way, it's gonna be very volatile, most likely around the news event. So your technical levels are not really, especially while trading on the lower time frames, you're most likely gonna get stopped out, right? So with that in mind, we have the CPI coming out later today, and that is most likely going to have an effect on Bitcoin. So the best thing for me, following my rules, is to de-risk prior to this event, right? So I want to de-risk prior to the event, and then after the event, I can start looking at positions, right? So while keeping that in mind, we have a few open positions on altcoins. So the question is, which of these do I want to de-risk? Well, EOS is actually in a small profit. Phil is the one that have looked weakest out of these three. So Dash, Phil, EOS. Unfortunately, there's a lot of coins here that I wish I would have entered instead. But that's just the way it is. You can't really. You got to pick and choose, right? And because everything looks the same, right? This is the list we looked at day before yesterday. And you can see that they all look the same. They all look the same. Some are a bit stronger than others. And for me, there's really no way of knowing which one will run. So I select 3 or 4 with low risk and just hope that the ones that I have, or one of the ones that I have, will run, right? And the ones I selected was EOS, Phil, and Dash. And even though EOS is looking decent, you look at DGB. This one ran very nicely. VeChain is looking fairly good, and then you had some nice happening on one chain, and EGLD obviously ran very nicely. And you can kind of see that the setup here is all the same. So I trade one setup, one system, and I'm just repeating that over and over and over again. And I'm going to go through this list, and I'm going to show you how similar all of this is, right? So you have stochastics are on the 4 hour below 30. You have a bounce at the 4 hour 20 EMA, confluent with the either the 0.618 or the 0.5% Fib, confluent with a horizontal support and resistance area, and that's basically it. That's the setup, right? So you see it happens on EOS. You got the same thing on Phil right here with a big 4 hour bullish engulfing. Dash, same thing here, 4 hour 20 EMA, stochastics below 30, hit the 50% Fib, and it's the same for all of these. They're all the same, the exact same setup, and funnily enough, they all more or less worked out, right? Now the question is, will we see a continuation of this trend, or will we break down? I think that we've been in this trade now for 2 days, and there's not much happening, and we have a major news event. So for me personally, it's just best to exit, get out, wait for the news event, because there's always going to be a new opportunity. There's always going to be a new opportunity. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to post an update in the official calls channel in the Burbness. By the way, guys, if you're not in the Burbness already, you can join for free. Just go to burbness.com/free trial, and you can try the community for 7 days free, no strings attached, no credit card needed or anything like that. Just join, look at the setups, and hopefully make some money, right? So today I'm going to update the fill position, and I'm going to write Phil use the update, and I'm going to say I'm exiting this position in a way to de-risk my current exposure to the altcoin market, considering that we have CPI coming out today, and Phil looks like the weakest of the current open positions, right? So this is just a way of de-risking. I'm not really in with it with big risk anyway, but when there's a major news event, it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to. Basically, it's just gambling. I'm just hoping for the market to move higher based on that news event, but I have no idea. And this is now an entry. I'm just exiting this one. To de-risk without losing any money, considering that it's at entry. You look at EOS, Dash is at entry as well, but I'm gonna keep this open for a little while because now I'm at such a low risk that even if Dash and EOS get stopped out, it's just gonna be such a small loss that it's just not really important. EOS has a very wide stop loss, which also is going to give me enough time to exit this one around this area. If we start to break down, we might see a move lower to hit the weekly open and move higher, rejection here. If we get rejected here, I'll just exit this at a small loss. And if that happens on EOS, Dash is most likely going to get stopped out. So it's going to be, managing my risk and trying to, be very impatient with my losers and very patient with my winner. And this is a way of, if in doubt, just get out, right? So looking at Bitcoin right here, we are trading at a significant resistance area, right? So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to remove this support box right here and that one as well. And I'm going to add one and only one level, which is going to be from, let's see, what's a good level? Is that a good level? Yeah, it's a good level. And then up to that one right there. So I'll extend that to the left and to the right, and I'll remove the horizontal levels. Kind of get a cleaner chart, and we now have a bounce up to 50%. I don't think this, you can add all the other fib levels here as well, and you can see that you're in perfect confluence here with the 382, and that definitely, it, for that reason, it definitely makes sense to keep the fibs on here, because seeing how the 0.382 is in perfect confluence with that resistance area, goes straight in the middle, definitely adds confluence to this level. So we are right now trading inside a very high, a very strong resistance area. Now, you take that and combine it with the fact that we have a major news event, if you're buying here, right? So let's say you buy Bitcoin here. Yeah, I would de-risk if I had shorts open as well, because we don't know if price is going to go up and down, or up or down, or up and down. We don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So I would de-risk. Now, of course, if you have longs and short open, I mean, you guess you're hedged, but that's, you probably shouldn't be trading that way unless you really know what you're doing. If you have shorts open because you anticipate that the CPI is going to be negative for the US dollar and positive for risk on assets, then it makes sense to stay long, right? So if you're anticipating a certain outcome of the news, well, then trade that, right? But I don't have any anticipations of the news event because I have no idea what to anticipate or what to expect. So I have no expectations whatsoever, and I trade based on technicals. And so I'll just get out and wait for the news went and then wait for everything to kind of settle. And at that point, I'll enter again when my system gives me an entry trigger. So, like, this is one day. All right. This is one day out of many days, hopefully. Right. So, taking the decision not to trade today is not going to make any difference next week. All right. So, it's not like you have to make a decision today, unless you're gonna, and if you don't, you lose money. That's the completely wrong way of thinking about it, right? The best way to think about it is today is a, you know, today is a very uncertain day. Most people, most professional traders who are not trading the headlines, the news, wait for the news to settle, wait for price action to settle after the news. For that very reason, if you trade every day and you're a technical trader, it's much better for you to focus on when there's no major news events going on. And if you're going to trade the major news events, at least wait for the news event to have happened and then digest the news and trade based on what the news is telling you. Either way, you're not going to be trading in anticipation of what you think the news is going to do, because that's just a very, very complicated and very hard thing to do. So you really need to have a lot of experience with macroeconomics and be able to read the technical terms in the news to really be able to digest that. So I highly recommend that. Don't do that unless you're very experienced and have a lot of knowledge on that and tried it, you know. So yeah, looking at Bitcoin right here, we're at that resistance. Let's say, you know, anything between let's say 44 and 45k is a high time frame resistance. I never look at the 4-hour chart. The only charts I really look at is the daily 4-hour and 1-hour, and I prefer EMAs. The only EMAs, exponential moving average, I'm using is the 20 EMA and the 50 EMA on the daily in combination with the 20 and 50 EMA on the 4-hour. That's all I use. Now, the reason for that is simply it's working. You know, it's working for my system. I could probably have used the 55 and the 21 as well, but I don't. I've tested the 20 and the 50 and it works for me. And the reason why I use exponential moving averages instead of simple moving averages is for the same reason. It works for me. Why it works, I have no idea, but it worked, so I'm going to keep on using it. Now, that's basically it. You don't have to make it too complicated, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, if it works, it works. If it works, continue doing that until it doesn't work anymore. And it worked quite well for me, actually. So I'll just use it. By the way, guys, all the stuff that I'm talking about today, all the charts that I'm watching, you know, all the resistance level, everything will be shared in the Birdnest Discord, and some of it will also be shared on Twitter. So if you're not following me on Twitter, go to @libs42 on Twitter and follow for some more content like this one. I do usually upload short, I call it flash TA videos, where I upload like short 2-minute videos of quick TA on different altcoins and stuff like that. So yeah, if you're interested, definitely check that out. All right, so we have Bitcoin and again at resistance, made a news event coming out. If you're going long here, you're going long at resistance, but not only are you longing into resistance, you're also longing resistance in the most uncertain day of the month, most likely. So it's just better to wait, because if we're gonna get a move like this after the news event, we'll get a huge pump up here, right? Well, the likelihood of getting a, I mean, the likelihood of getting a pullback down to like some moving average is quite high. Now, you might not test the breakout level, right? So usually what Bitcoin does when has a strong breakout and it's like the start of a new bull run, it usually never retests the high time frame breakout areas. I'm looking at the daily right here. This is that area, right? And will this get retested? Maybe not. If this trend is going to continue, I don't think that level will get retested. Will the daily 20 may get retested? Maybe. That's likely. You know, that's likely, especially if the news event comes out today and it's bearish for risk on assets like Bitcoin. It's likely to see a test of the daily 20 EMA, right? Now, if we get a pump to the upside, what I will be looking at is to I will be looking at to buy my 4-hour setup, right, which is based on the 4-hour 20 EMA. So even if we get a pump up here, right, I wouldn't necessarily expect a test of this level, especially not if the 4-hour EMA is up here, the 20 EMA, and the 50 is up here. I might expect a move down here, and especially if that level is confident with like the 50% fib right here, right? So if that happens, I'm going to buy that setup and then probably take profits around the 40, 43, 44K area. But that's another thing for another day, another time. We don't know if that's going to happen. If it's going to happen, you'll know in the Birdnest community if that happens and we activate a setup in that area. Yeah, we'll look at the now. Just a note here: when you talk about hidden bearish divergence, I don't look at that. I don't look at divergences at all. Like my trading system is very simple, very simple. And it's surprisingly effective as well. Like it's crazy. I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, I trade the forex market and the crypto market, and I can literally like spend 1 to 2 hours every day, and that's it. You know, that's it. can live off trading by only spending 1 to 2 hours a day with my system. I do my market scan. I'm done for the week looking at the markets. I have a couple of setups that I want to take this week. I can take one setup a week and make what I need to make in a month to make a living. So with that in mind, like it's such a simple way of trading. It's just it's a stupid simple way of trading. So the more indicators I'll add to the system, the longer it's going to take me to analyze the markets, the longer it's going to take me to find setups. And sure, I might not be as profitable as a lot of super skilled traders out there, but I'm profitable enough for me and my life situation, right? And I love the fact that I can spend very little time trading and most of my time doing stuff that I love doing, like spending time with my family and doing other stuff, right? Which is just fantastic. If I had a very advanced system with 2 million indicators on the chart, I feel like I probably would be spending much more time behind the screen. So, no, I don't look at hidden divergences, but we can look at Ethereum, and I can kind of give you my thoughts on Ethereum based on what I'm using in my trading, right? So let's look at Ethereum right here. We got Ethereum. So what I do like about Ethereum here is the fact that we have a move above the daily 50 EMA, which is the gray dotted line right here. Bitcoin is also above the daily 50 EMA, which is super bullish, right? That's one of my strategies. You can also see on my Twitter, my pinned tweet where I've shared my overall long-term strategy for Bitcoin, which is just based on reclaiming the daily 50 EMA. So as long as Bitcoin is trading above the daily 50 EMA, I'm long. Below it, I'm short. That's just very simple, and it works surprisingly well. You see, super simple. Doesn't have to be more complicated about that. But like it sounds very easy, right? I'm long above the daily 50. I'm short below the daily 50 EMA. It sounds very simple, but I promise you, try it out, and you're gonna notice that such a simple strategy based on technicals. It's not going to be hard from a technical perspective, but everything you do in the markets, everything you do in trading is going to be hard from a mental aspect, right? Because you're always going to be questioning that, right? You're going to be like, is it really a good idea? Should I really be entering here? Should I really be exiting here? Should I really be doing this at all? Like, what the fuck am I doing, right? That's the questions that are going to make or break you as a trader. So it does not matter what system you are trading. A lot of you watching this is you're probably looking for the perfect system. Well, guess what? There is no perfect system. There is no perfect trading system. There's going to be thousands of different technical systems out there, and most likely they all work. It's all about what happens in your head. Are you thinking in terms of probabilities? Are you thinking in terms of consistency? Do you have a consistent mindset? If you do, you're going to be profitable with any systems out there, most likely. Having a consistent mindset with a good risk management system is all you need. It's all you need, right? So focus on that instead of trying to find the perfect system. When you figure out your mental game and risk management, you can just pick and choose whatever system that you feel fit you, right? All right, so Ethereum here, I do like the fact that we're bouncing off the daily 50, but it's not like, I mean, you still have to take into consideration the news event we got going on here for USD. We got CPI coming out at 1 p.m. UTC today. That's going to affect Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is going to affect everything in the crypto market. So you still have to watch Bitcoin. Like, what is Bitcoin doing? So instead of looking at individual altcoins, you look at Bitcoin and you say, what's Bitcoin doing here? What's Bitcoin doing here? If Bitcoin breaks out, this is a very interesting point, right? So if Bitcoin breaks out here, right, I'm not going to be able to trade it because I'm not trading the breakout, right? I'm not a breakout trader. I'm a break and retest trader, right? So I'm going to be buying the retest, right? But if Bitcoin breaks out, and at the same time while Bitcoin is breaking out, we have an altcoin who's retesting and doing a break and retest, right? So let's say Dash is trading right here, while at the same time Bitcoin is breaking out. I'm going to be buying the Bitcoin breakout on an altcoin, right? Because it's almost a given that the altcoins are going to follow Bitcoin on that breakout, but they're going to lag a couple of minutes, right? So you can get in on that break and retest on Dash, and maybe Dash is up here, but you can buy Dash here, stops here, and then move higher. All right, good morning, Peace Sniper. Thank you. I do not consider myself being a TA king, not at all. It's, my TA is actually very simple, very, very simple. And that's that's the message I want to get out to you guys. It has very little to do with TA. All of this has very little to do with TA. It has everything to do with mindset, right? Everything to do with mindset. I mean, honestly, you could just buy the break and retest of you have a trend. Trend goes up. You have resistance. Price breaks resistance or upside. You go long in the first retest with a round retest, stops below the low of the breakout. You do that over and over and over and over again with a consistent mindset, you're going to be profitable. You're going to be profitable. It's just stupid simple. All right, guys? It's stupid simple. So you don't have to have an advanced TA to be profitable in trading. All right? It's pretty cool. You watch YouTube and you got these guys on YouTube. They have like a very advanced system and they're like, they're looking at everything. They're going to tell you anything about the technicals of the market. But when it comes to trading, it's a whole nother thing. Being an analyst and a trader, it's two different things. Right? It's two different things, and you have to remember this. You watch people on Twitter and YouTube being analysts, but you need to understand that I'm first and foremost a trader, and I do not really care about analyzing the markets very well. So when I do my live streams, I'm going to be showing you setups. I'm going to be showing you where to enter, how to enter, and why to enter, not, give you some bigger, broad picture of whatever's happening in the market, because I don't care. I don't care. All I care about is, do I have an edge right now in the current chart that I'm watching? If yes, I'll take the trade. Can I make a couple of percentage on that move? I'll take it, and I don't care what's happening. I don't care if there's a 2-month divergence or a big ass pattern. It's like I don't care. I don't care. All right. So do I use anchored VWAP? No, I do not. I do not. I heard it's very good though, but I don't care. Do you think Bitcoin has bottom? So this is a very interesting question, right? And I could tell you what I think, what I think, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what I think. What I think the it's really hard because like I want to say yes, I think Bitcoin has bottomed, right? I want to believe that Bitcoin has bottomed here. The problem with that statement is whether I believe Bitcoin has bottomed or not, I'm gonna be trading whatever the technicals is telling me, right? So even if I believe that Bitcoin has bottomed out, even if I feel like Bitcoin has bottomed out here, if I find the short setup that triggers my system, I'm still gonna be taking that short, right? So instead of thinking in terms of or asking questions in terms of do you think Bitcoin has bottomed? I think the more important perspective and the more important questions here is there any signs of a break in market structure, right? Because right now the current trend is bearish, right? Yes, I do believe, I do think that Bitcoin has bottomed, but is there any signs of a break in market structure? The answer is yes, there's signs of a bullish break in market structure, but in my opinion, it's not confirmed until we have a Like it's starting to confirm, but the best confirmation is, if we do dump from the news today, we might, move lower, and I would like to see a test of the daily 20 EMA to create a higher low. If that happens, and I don't really consider this as a higher high, I just consider this as equal highs, right? It's very important distinction here. Just because there's a wick going above that one, I do not consider that being a higher high. However, if you have daily candle closes above here in a rounded fashion like that, that would be a higher high. Now, and this is important, right? This is a daily 20. If we move down and hit the daily 20, create a higher low, and then move above this one right here, then I would consider this as a higher high. I would consider this as a higher high, higher low, and a new higher high. And that would absolutely confirm a bullish break in market structure for Bitcoin. And I would definitely say that I believe Bitcoin has bottomed out purely through intuition, and also because of how the technicals look, right? So the news today is we got CPI coming out here. You can go to forexfactory.com/calendar and check out what this actually means and how it affects the markets and all that stuff, right? It's basically inflation, right? All right. What am I talking about? Yeah. Okay. So now, how do you trade this? Well, if you think that this is a bullish break in market structure and you have a bounce down here, that would be beautiful entry. All right. Time is I think we're in this. I think we're in the same time zone, so it's going to be at 13:30 UTC. I believe you're in UTC plus, so 13:30 UTC. Amsterdam time would be 14:30, 2:30. All right, so you could then trade that higher low, right? Which might not be a bad idea, actually. Might not be a bad idea. Anyway, let's look at the altcoins right here. We have a 4-hour close happening 2 minutes ago. I like this. I like the fact that that candle actually bounced on the entry right there. Phil, obviously, fuck it, it's probably gonna move, but I don't care. Better to de-risk considering the news event. Do we have any other interesting altcoins today? Let's see. All right, so in about 25 minutes, I have an interview with a new potential candidate to join the Bubna. So we're actually expanding, right? So we're expanding the TA team, and we're also looking for fundamental analysts. Yeah. So if you think you're a really good trader, not necessarily a good analyst, we're looking for good traders. All right, look, good traders. If you think you're a good trader and you're able to educate other people in how to trade like you, we got spots open for application to the TA team, but it's filling up quickly. But we newly opened up positions for fundamental traders, fundamentals analysts. So if you like researching new, good, strong projects in the crypto space and have some knowledge of the macroeconomics, global macroeconomics, and especially how that affects the Forex market, you should definitely consider applying, because we're building something huge. I got big plans for the TA team, like really, really cool stuff going on. All right, so quick scan here. We got Engine coin. I think this one is gone. This setup is gone. Next setup would be a break and retest of 2.2. AVE, this one is gone as well. Next setup would be a break and retest of 193. DGB is actually, the trade idea is gone right here, but we're looking for a retrace. Maybe perhaps a break and retest of the daily 50 EMA. VeChain, same thing here, just waiting for something to happen. One chain, I don't know what is going on here. LTO, I don't like what's going on here, so not sure if I should probably move that down to the lower one. EJLD, break and retest of the daily 50 EMA, this general area right here. That would be beautiful that would be a beautiful trade, a break and retest, right? So we're looking for something like this, a break and retest of the 190 area for EJLD. So let's look at CRO. Yeah, fuck me, that's a good one. Yeah, look at that. It's a beautiful, beautiful break and retest above the daily 50. I kind of missed that one. I definitely missed this one. Maybe I was too late on the market scan, but that is a beautiful, beautiful retest of the area, like the 50% right there. So that looks really, really good. Looks really, really good. I wish I would have bought that one, but I didn't, obviously. So yeah, I'm moving this one up to the first list because it looks very interesting. We got Pearl. Um, we got Pearl looking interesting. Mana. Yeah, look at that one. Nice. So what we're looking at for Mana here would be a break and retest the weekly open with the. So honestly, I'm not feeling like there's a lot going on here. Like I'm not feeling like there's just a lot going on. So I think a lot of stuff will clear up after the CPI. CVC here, great break and retest of the weekly open would be a nice trade. I'm moving that up to the first list. We got Tesos. Yeah, this looks really good. Looks really good. We just need to retrace back down to like the 4.2 or $4 area. FTT still doing its thing, but the next trade for FTT is going to be a break and retest of the $48 area, right? FTM. Not liking this. We need to see a break and retest of 2.4. Putting an alert up here. We got Sand. Sand is definitely interesting, but it's just something about this that I'm not really sure about. Keeping that on the list. Matic looks really good. I'm moving that up to the first list. TRX is also looking very nice. Moving that up to the first list. TVT. I don't know what this is. I'll remove that one. Silica. Interesting. Moving that up to the first list. All right. So, how do you choose? All right. So let's see. We have some questions here. Let's go through. Let's go through the questions before we end the stream. So I'm just going to do a quick scan of the. Is a quick scan of the Forex market as well. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 coins that are showing interesting market structure to be traded after the news event today. So that's what I'm going to be focused on. Bitcoin is actually looking surprisingly bullish, It's looking really, really good right here. I actually had a trade set up with orders on Bitcoin. Let's see if I have that one. Yes, this was actually a setup I had orders on for Bitcoin yesterday, but I pulled them, and I'm not going to be trading this setup because of the news event, but it looks fairly interesting. It really looks pretty good. So yeah, but I'll wait. I had to be patient, and I have to wait for the news event to kind of set up. Let's add GBP CAD as well. So let's go a quick look at let's take a quick look at the Forex market here before we go through the questions. We got GBP CAD. This one, we've exited this one, right? But it still looks rather interesting. So just have to, I haven't journaled this one yet, so I have to make a new chart here. GBP CAD to journal. So when I have a copy of that one, I'll remove the drawings of this one right here. Right. Because this would now be a new setup. Right. So we got GBP CAD. AD NCD still in this one. Looks pretty good. I like this. Looks very nice. Very, very nice. Staying in that one. BTC, not interested. GBP AD, yeah, this broke down completely. Not entering that one. We got oil. Now, this is, yeah, you know, wow, look at that. This looks really good. I might actually be entering a position on oil here based on this candle close, but like it's hard because I do feel a little bit of FOMO here because yes, this is a really nice setup. You look at the 1 hour, I really like the fact that it had that higher low on the 0.618, but really the best way to trade my system is to wait for a 4 hour bullish engulfing to kind of go like this, and when that closes, I'll enter orders right here. Right, so the 4 hour bullish engulfing kind of needs to confirm, and when that's confirmed, I'll enter. The problem with oil, however, is that the breakouts tend to never retest the breakout area. You have a very good example right here, right, where you have a strong breakout and no retest, strong breakout and no retest, strong breakout and a retest, but that breaks down. So maybe it kind of makes sense to you know, maybe can it make sense to wait for confirmation here on oil, but it does look like a fairly interesting setup. So what I might do in this case is I might take this position based on this candle close, if it closes like this, with a 0.25% risk, and then if it confirms, I would add 0.25% risk. So I would have 0.5% risk on the setup. So yeah, that's probably what I'm going to be doing. So we have right now two of the most interesting ones being AUD NCD, oil. Let's look at the Euro NCD. Euro NCD is breaking down. It's hitting the reload zone, but it seems to be breaking down. This is still interesting though, because we could get a trade on this later in the week. Euro AUD, same thing here, breaking down. Euro GBP. So Euro USD must be looking pretty weak. No, it's not. All right, weird. AUD USD breaking about a daily 50. This could be a trade in next week to ride that potential trade trend up to that trend line. See, do we have anything interesting going on here? Nothing. Not much happening today. Not much happening today. Pretty slow day in the markets in general. I think that is because we have, like, people are waiting for that. People are waiting for the CPI. This would be a nice trade. Break and retest of that one if USD is going to move bullishly. Euro JPY, we're getting breakout. All right, so this looks interesting. We just don't have anything super clear right now. So I think it would be best to just wait until we have a good sense of direction. I do like the fact that AUD NCD is also testing the reload zone of the low time frame moves. It's like a reload zone within a reload zone here, like that. It's pretty strong. Interesting. There might be a trade here. I don't know. I'm going to be monitoring that a little bit closer. All right. So let's go through. I got two questions here before we end the live stream. I'm going to prepare for the meeting. All right, so I see wicks don't count to confirm the daily close. Trend breaks need a daily close to confirm them. Well, you know, it's that's all up to you. You know, that's all up to it's up to you how to trade that, right? If you, I would agree that a candle close would confirm the break and not a wick, but it's all up, like, you have complete freedom of creativity when it comes to creating a trading system, right? That's the beauty of this, right? That's the curse and the beauty of being a trader is you have complete freedom to do whatever you want, but you need to do it in a controlled and consistent way. So you have unlimited freedom to do whatever you want, but that's also very hard for a lot of people to manage, right? It's very hard for a lot of people to manage that complete freedom to do whatever you want, because you had to create rules. You had to create rules and be very strict about following those rules. So you have complete freedom on one hand, and then on the other hand, you need very strict rules to be able to trade that environment. It is weird, right? But yeah, I would just say you need to try it out. You need to try it out before you know that's how to do it. But generally, yeah, I'd say you need to have candle closes instead of wicks. All right, do you choose where to draw? How do you choose where to draw the fibs? Thank you, by the way. Um, so this is actually a good example, right? We can remove all the drawings here, and I'll show you. This is a pretty good example. Where would I draw the fibs on this? Well, when you have a low and a high, you can start fibbing that move, right? So you have a low and a high. You fib from here to here, and you bounce off to 618 here, right? You have a low and a high, and you bounce in the reload zone here. So you have a low and a high, you fib this move, and you'll break down. Then you'll have, I guess, this low, but this wick was created by a news event, by the way. So you can see how that candle kind of would have taken out stops to the upside if going short and stops to the downside if going long. So that is why you don't trade the news events, right? So I would actually use that as the low. So you have one move, you fib that low to that high. Now let me show you that how that works, right? So you have a low, a high, hit the 618, low and a high, hit the reload zone here, and then a low and a high. It broke the reload zone, and then low and a high, and it's trading somewhere here. So that's how I do it. That's how I do it. All right, guys, that's it for today. This morning, I'm done. So what I do is I do this every day. Is go through the markets, try to make plans. Now it took me about 45 minutes to do this market scanning, get some ideas of what's happening in the market. Usually that's the amount of time it takes me to kind of go through the whole market and make some plans for the week or for the day. Of course, when doing a live stream like this, I also have to focus on, talking to you guys and answering the questions and stuff like that. So I do probably have to do this scan, 20 minutes after the stream, just being laser focused and quiet, put on my headphones and kind of get into the zone and see if I can find anything that I wouldn't be able to find during the live stream, right? So and right now today, I'm not really feeling like there's a lot of stuff going on. I do have something interesting going on GBP CAD here and oil. So GBP CAD and oil, I think, are my most interesting charts right now. GBP CAD and oil, perhaps AUD NCD as well. But I don't really like the fact that we have so I can't add to this position and open up a new position because it's right below the monthly open. So I'll probably have to wait for a break and retest of the monthly open, right? On Bitcoin and the crypto market, I don't see any setups today until after the news event. But GBP CAD and oil, I might actually be interested in taking a trade based on, right after the news event, especially if this confirms. And I believe that we will have a 4-hour close shortly after the news event today, or shortly before the news event. So I don't know. I'm not sure how to trade that. And when you're not sure, just don't trade it. All right, guys. Thanks for joining today. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you like the content and want some more stuff like this. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at libs42. You can see my Twitter handle in the low left of the screen. All right, guys, take care, and thank you all for all the positive comments and the great feedback that I'm getting. All right, take care. You see, I get a meeting to attend. All right, guys, take care.